Support WrestleTalk!
Support each other. WWE reportedly informed talent on Monday there would be a mandatory conference call the following day on Tuesday. The last time a mandatory conference call happened, a reported 40% of the company's workforce was either fired or furloughed by the end of the day, making the notification like that sudden text from your partner about how we need to meet up and talk. Why can't we just talk about it now, Megan? You didn't put any emojis. I can't tell what your tone is. Where's the flamenco dancer, Megan? Where's the flamenco dancer? But actually, for a change in 2020, something didn't go disastrously wrong. And I will continue to prove to Megan that we weren't a mistake and we actually really had something. Despite reports from Tom Colohue that WWE were considering closing down NXT UK completely in the wake of the Speaking Out movement, F4W Online is reporting WWE are standing by their overseas brand, like how Alex McCarthy had reported over the weekend. Rather than shutting NXT UK, Paul Levesque, aka Triple H, it's still real to me, damn it, used the conference call to remind talent of company policy and the protocol regarding sexual abuse allegations, reiterating there would be zero tolerance on any charges provided there was irrefutable evidence to the charges. There was reportedly no talk of the brand closing, with Hunter even saying NXT UK will begin taping TV episodes as soon as it is once again feasible to do so in that market. But that isn't to say there weren't casualties in the call. Along with the reported releases of El Ligero and Travis Banks last Friday, which still haven't been officially announced by WWE, F4W Online and PW Insider are both reporting WWE announced the releases of NXT UK referees Joel Allen and Chris Roberts, along with the suspension of top NXT UK star Joe Coffey on the call. Coffey was only headlining TakeOver against Walter for the UK Championship last December. F4W Online notes the firings and suspension were all due to allegations from Speaking Out. Sean Ross Sapp reported last week that WWE want to clean up their roster following the Speaking Out allegations. And according to multiple sites like Fightful and Matt Mem Pro Wrestling Podcast, top NXT star Velveteen Dream might be the next high-profile name to be let go. Dream, real name Patrick Clark, denied allegations that he'd shared inappropriate pictures with a minor back in April, instead claiming a private photo of mine was shared without my consent or knowledge. Dream has been missing from NXT TV for the last 2 weeks, and last Friday, Fightful revealed he'd been involved in a car accident. Dream was released from hospital shortly after, but now Wrestling Inc. have more details on what happened. The incident reportedly took place at 4 p.m. on Friday afternoon, when Dream apparently failed to stop at a red light when he struck another car. The driver of the other car did sustain some injuries, however, the severity is not known. The site writes Dream was given a citation, however, will not have to appear in court. This is Clark's second run-in with the law in the last 8 months, as Fightful have previously revealed a warrant was issued for his arrest last November when he was accused of smashing a car window, but the charges were dropped when the situation was deemed not suitable for prosecution. But not all releases are because of potentially criminal allegations. Some are just because WWE want to make more money during a pandemic, and it seems the next destination for several of those released back in April has now been revealed. 9 years ago, on the 15th of April 2020, WWE suddenly announced the releases of Rusev, Kurt Angle, and other superstars, with the other superstars being Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, Eric Young, Rowan, Sarah Logan, No Way Jose, Mike Kanellis, EC3, Aiden English, Leo Rush, Drake Maverick, Primo, and Epico. Drake Maverick has since been rehired in a storyline about him fighting to get his job back, which is both fantastic and exploitative at the same time. Fantastic and exploitative, title of your Attitude Era pay-per-view. And Sarah Logan has said she'll be stepping away from the wrestling industry for a bit. For everyone else, thanks to the website free EC3, we can see their 90-day non-compete clauses expire in under 13 days on July 15th, just several days before Impact Wrestling's biggest show of the year, Slammiversary, on the 18th of July. Last month, Impact teased pretty much every single one of the released WWE stars in a vignette, and now at least 2 of those names have been confirmed. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson reportedly signed with the promotion at the start of this week, and at the end of last night's episode, a promo aired with superhero music panning over a gold and red cape and lucha mask with a giant E on it. The letter, not the 90s rave drug, which is likely Eric Young's gimmick from 2008, Super Eric. It's an odd comedy act to come back with, considering Young's serious runs as TNA World Heavyweight Champion in the promotion and the leader of Sanity in NXT. And it looks like he'll be joined by another released WWE star, but taking the opposite gimmick tract, as Heath Slater appears to be going from undercard comedy act to serious cross-training badass. After Rhino teased on the June 9th episode of Impact that he already has a tag team partner and he's got kids, a reference to his former SmackDown Tag Team Champion act with Slater in WWE, Heath himself has now tweeted a brief promo of him working out, with the text July 18th, the date of Slammiversary, and coming soon, and the tweet caption, "Watch the hell out." That makes 4 potential debuts and returns at Slammiversary, which isn't to mention EC3's continued teasers, as the company looks to fill out the top of its card after releasing their then current world champion Tessa Blanchard and top title contender Michael Elgin over the last week. Last night's Impact saw 2 more matches announced for their biggest show of the year, with the North taking on Sami Callihan and Ken frickin' Shamrock for the tag team titles, and a Knockouts Gauntlet match to crown the number 1 contender. And the fatal 4-way of Eddie Edwards versus Trey Miguel versus Ace Austin versus defending champion Vacant will now be for Blanchard's relinquished world title. Who do you think the mystery 4th opponent will be? Let me know in the comments, because I'll be replying to people from out of nowhere asking what's 3EC doing in the Impact Zone. Doesn't really work, that one. But all those released back in mid-April aren't the only people missing from WWE right now. Thanks for your support on Patreon, the Mayor of Painesville Dan, and Crafty Man, the Blake Craftman. Last week saw a reported outbreak of coronavirus at the WWE Performance Center, with up to 24 people apparently testing positive. While several on-air talent announced their positive cases on social media, like backstage interviewers Renee Young and Kayla Braxton, and SmackDown producers Adam Pearce and Jamie Noble, it's been reported that WWE stopped any in-ring wrestlers from discussing their positive cases publicly, as they wanted to handle the PR. Potentially connected to the outbreak, Wrestling Observer Radio is reporting Monday's episode of Raw had to be heavily changed. Like, even more heavily changed than normal, as some wrestlers were now unavailable. Apparently Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic were originally scheduled to appear in person, but this was changed to zooming in from their home. Liv Morgan was also supposed to be on the show to tag with Ruby Riott against the Iconics, but this was changed to just Riott being squashed by Peyton Royce in a singles match. Wrestling Inc. points out that several other wrestlers were mentioned on the episode and their stories were continued even though they weren't there, like the Street Profits, Randy Orton, Austin Theory, and Natalya. SmackDown announcer Greg Hamilton also worked the episode, rather than the usual Raw ring announcer, Mike Rome. It's unknown whether these absences were because of the outbreak or for other reasons, as it's previously been reported that a number of wrestlers are choosing not to work TV tapings at all during the pandemic, like Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Riddick Moss. Now that WWE has experienced an outbreak, it finally seems like they're putting in safety measures that should have been in place from the start, like testing for coronavirus specifically, and now, according to WrestlingNews.co, developmental wrestlers at the Performance Center and all staff will now be required to wear a mask whenever they are inside the building. But even that isn't enough to get fans back live in attendance, as despite reports that WWE were aiming to run 2 live shows with an actual crowd in late July, Fightful now claims those plans have been delayed. It's a significant setback to Vince McMahon's goal to be the first major sports league to run an indoor event with fans during the pandemic. We've all got to have goals, I guess. As is the latest viewership figures for Raw, which after getting a decent bump over the last 2 weeks since Paul Heyman's removal, with gimmicks like bringing back Ric Flair, Big Show and Christian, along with
Championship Monday,
this week's episode dropped back down to 1.74 million viewers, which is where it was in the Heyman era. Vince gave his own ratings a 3-week push. Speaking of 3-week pushes, we're extending our Jam That Jam t-shirt competition push. That's a merch segue to make you proud, dear departed Segway company. Everyone who buys a Jam That Jam t-shirt from WrestleTalkMerch.com will be automatically entered into a competition where the prize is a Quizzlemania trophy signed by Adam Blompier, which isn't actually that impressive when you turn it sideways. It's nowhere near as three-dimensional as you think it is. Because we missed last week's episode, we're extending that competition to July 15th. So order yours now using the link in the video description below and jam that jam. Speaking of, it's Quizzlemania 13 tonight, featuring myself, returning champion Luke Owen, Fightful's Denise Salcedo, and as seen on RuPaul's Drag Race, James Mansfield. Press the video to the right to set your reminder for tonight's show, which will be raising money for the mental health charity Calm. And press the video below that to find out about 2 former WWE stars signing with Impact. Follow us on Twitter at WrestleTalk_TV and myself at Ollie Davis. That was wrestling.